Alrighty then, let's get started here. We're going to jump right into Baldur's Gate 3. Need a little audio here. There we go. There we go. There's our game audio. Only tough part with that is figuring out if it's too loud or not loud enough, or that is a tough call one way or the other. Because it's plenty loud for me, but I want you guys to be able to hear what's going on too, so it's a hard one. Alrighty. And I need to heal. Full rest. So much better. Everybody's all rested up, and we got all our spell slots back, and our hit points are back. And in case you're curious what the blood splatter is here in camp, the big old pool over here was, and over here was the, what do they call it? It was a beholder that was in an iron flask that, there were one warning after another not to open it, but of course I didn't listen to those warnings. Why would I do that? And then I opened it, and inside was a beholder. Of course, I opened it in the camp, which is, of course, not the best decision, but also not an awful decision. Because opening it inside our own camp meant that I wasn't going to get any civilians hurt. And that when I needed to rest soon afterwards, since half of us took about half of our life worth of damage, we were right here. So if anybody died and needed resurrecting, or if we needed health and healing, we were again right here. So that was why I decided to open up the flask that clearly said on it that it was containing something inside it. Opened it up, out came a beholder, but they call it something different in here. I'm guessing beholder is like copywritten somehow. So they called it like spectator or something, and I forget what they actually called it. I should know. I should have paid attention to what that was. You can move over one. And we're actually going to do a little rearranging here. I know. Very exciting. Inventory management. I had a whole bunch of stuff that I pulled off of. That one I need to look at. I need to actually grab your... magical versus... become proficient with it if you weren't already. Okay, there's the difference. So a couple times ago, I went through and I did Pact of the Blade with Will, because he is the Blade, and that's literally his identity. That's how he introduced himself to me. That's what everybody knows him as. So I said, well, I'll do Pact of the Blade. It makes perfect sense for him to have a warlock pact that has to do with his his sword. And when I did so, I remember it saying something about you could either bind your current weapon or you could create a brand new magical weapon that you summon to your hand. And I was thinking, that's kind of cool. Pull a special weapon out of a pocket dimension somewhere and have it become your main weapon. That'd be cool. I remembered seeing something about how when you used your pact, that even if you weren't proficient with it, you'd become proficient with it. Well, that's this one. If I take and I bind the weapon that I'm already using, it becomes a magical weapon, and I can't drop it or throw it, and I become proficient even if I wasn't already. So if I wanted to grab another one-handed weapon, because I like him with a shield, because he's kind of a squishy warlock, if I wanted to grab another weapon and do this pact binding, then he becomes proficient with it. This one, when I go through and do it, I need to pick one that he's already proficient with. The intriguing thing here. Resource, primary resource in combat. Okay. Summon a rapier. I'm going to inspect this real quick just to see. You're proficient with the weapon. You can only have one at a time. Weapon disappears if you are more than 1.5 meters away from it for more than 10 seconds. Recharge once per battle. Okay, so if I summon this now, item received. Backbound rapier, equipped by will. 5 to 12 damage. Piercing, backbound proficiency with this weapon type. Unlock special things. Okay, so those are the same ones as if it was a regular rapier. Okay, but instead of being 3 to 10 damage, it's now 5 to 12 damage, because I'm getting the same 1d8, but it's plus 4 instead of plus 2. Okay. Summonable rapier granted by a warlock's patron. Surface crackles with interdimensional energy. Can't sell it, but it has the same weight as a regular rapier. A little bit different picture, though. So that's intriguing. Things I'm learning as I go. So for a little bit of context, I played the early access quite a bit. But at the time when I played it, Will was not a thing. He was not a character that was even in the game yet, I don't think, when I first started playing it. Oh, no, he was. He was in the camp, and you could talk to him, but he wasn't like a gung-ho party member at the time. And then toward the end of where I was playing, he became a party member, but I don't think I used him much. Yeah, and Karlach wasn't in there yet. Astarion was there. Shadowheart was there. Lae'zel was there, and Gale was there. Withers was already in there. I'm trying to remember. The druid Halsin was in the game, but at the time he was just the bear in the goblin camp. He couldn't be a party member as of yet. He was not a romanceable option. Oh, goodness. I'm trying to think of all the things that have changed just character-wise. I mean, I'm not even talking about all the things that changed with gameplay and stuff like that. Anyway, so let me get back into here. Greater healing. Bunch of rotten things I'm going to throw at enemies just because I think it's going to be fun. Crazy arrows. Scroll hold person. I wish I could send these to Gale. Good and evil. Civil tools. Gendrill's aspiration. Okay, I'm going to send that to Carlock because I know she can use it. Turbo. I'm highly unlikely to use that versus the hand crossbow because it allows me to do additional. Doesn't say that Gale can eat this one. I'll drop it in there for later, maybe. Maybe he can. Ethel. Letters written in elegant cursive. Ethel, I've heard business has been slow. Rest assured, I have a job for you. A client fled Baldur's Gate without payment. My agents picked up his trail along the, let's say Shionthar, and have ensured he will pass through your territory. Do as you wish to him. In exchange, I have a girl who suits your particular appetites. Her mother's mind is failing. My contract has assured her you can help. I'll have her sent by the usual route, M. Okay, so I guess the first question is, who's M? Letter from Ethel, let's see. Blotches of ink are splattered on this unfinished letter written in an uneven scrawl. Sister dearest, are you feeling all right, Petal? I can't believe you let some pup give you the slip. I'd be mortified. Worry not, my redcaps nabbed the bugger. They're taking their sweet time with him. The screaming stopped a few nights past, but the sobbing continues. He'll die regretting he crossed a hag. A mother with a failing mind? You know me so well. I have the most darling mask for her. You must come to visit. Got cut off at some point. So apparently Auntie Ethel the hag has a sister. Read this every morning. Remember, she is not your friend. She is not your family. Do not eat the food unless she is watching. Do not drink the tea unless she is watching. Do not wear the mask. Do not wear the mask. Do not wear the mask. The word lies is written in large, thick letters across the rest of the text. Yeesh. So, in case you missed it last time, the Auntie Ethel there has her little grove down below that had a whole bunch of people who were wearing masks that were basically making her control them. But oh, hey Tez, I can actually see you in chat. Holy cow! Look at that! Look at that! And I'm now seeing that I need to readjust the size of the chat window because I can't read what you typed. Mirror chat. I need to adjust how big you are. Boop. There we go. Woohoo! You're live. Okay. And can only stay for 5 minutes. Was heading to bed. Saw you were on. Just fixed YouTube alerts again. I hadn't given ME6 the correct permissions. It will work next time, guaranteed. Excellent. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Alrighty. That's fantastic. I'm very glad you made it. see here. You type that in there. Just do it. There we go. Just finished with Auntie Ethel this weekend. Great quest. Make sure to keep one mask. Oh, I certainly did. I have 3 of them sitting in my chest. Not quite sure as of yet what I'll end up doing with them, but they're sitting aside for now. It's funny because when I was playing the early access before, I probably only had, oh goodness, I don't know. It couldn't have been more than a handful of hours in total in the game. I just, it wasn't even that I hadn't played that much. It was just that I hadn't taken the time to actually get into it anywhere near as far as I could. I wish I'd put more into it, but unfortunately, when it came right down to it, I just didn't spend extra time in there. Would have been great if I had, obviously, because now I know there's even more that I could have gotten into it. But yeah, there's a whole bunch more I would have loved to have seen and gone through and done. Okay, well, I appreciate that. Should I be walking around carrying that mask on me? Is this something I'm going to run into? Yeah, relatively new, and I'm coming back to it from. I got into some early access stuff with it initially, where I spent some time, obviously, with character creation. But when I did, there was only, I think, half as many of the classes that they had in there because they didn't add druid and monk and a bunch of the other stuff till later. So there was at least a handful of them that they hadn't added as of yet. The a bunch of the romance options weren't there yet. A bunch of the quest stuff. All of Act 3 didn't even exist yet. And you could only get partway into Act 2 at one point when I was doing it. When I first started playing it, basically once you finished the battle with the goblins in their grove, you were waiting for the next update because I started really early on. Yeah, it's intriguing. So coming back into it now after, I mean, it's been a year since I even looked at it. Was planning on getting back into it because there was a whole bunch of updates and new things that came in. And then the way I was playing it originally was with Stadia. Unfortunately, Stadia disappeared. So a lot of the things that I was going to do with it, I couldn't do anymore because they just didn't exist. So it's interesting, to say the least, getting back into it, seeing even just some of the visual updates that they did are pretty fantastic. The new characters, like Karlach wasn't in there last time I played it. Will was a very minor character that you met him and he could come to your camp, but he wasn't even at the time a party member yet. And so they've added a lot since the last time I played it when it was still in early access, and it's pretty great. So yeah, I am coming to it relatively new by comparison. I've had a decent amount of experience with D&D, so I understand the mechanics of it and the gameplay and things like that. But as far as Baldur's Gate itself, anything past, I don't know, halfway into Act 1 is going to be relatively new to me. So if you just got through Auntie Ethel yourself, then you're not much further than I am. How you liking it so far? Series of recipes accompanied by anecdotes about the meals in question. This is a twist on the traditional dwarven eglach stew. Those non-dwarven who can't translate that, don't bother. No point frightening yourselves. Just make sure that once you've burned the alcohol away, do not add the dried or venom. Good point. Substitute it with some other sour, whatever agrees with your milky constitution. Well, that's rude. As to how I discovered this one, back during my watchman days, a drow thief I caught spiked my supper. The look on his face when I quaffed it down was near as good as the stew. I love it. Awesome. Loving it so far. Voice acting is excellent. It is. These guys are, well, huge surprise. I mean, Larian Studios, half of the games that I've played recently, the voice acting has just been great. I think so far, voice acting is excellent. Might make a few videos on it too. Excellent. Great. Loved it. Looking forward to seeing them. One complaint. The text on the books doesn't curve with the paper. Oh. You know, you're right. It does not. I don't know if I actually have one. Yeah. No, it's straight across. It doesn't actually curl into the margin part. And when I go from page to page, the page doesn't actually turn. You hear the sound of it, but you don't actually see it flip. But yeah, you're right. It's just a straight on down through. It doesn't curve visually, at least with the thing. Yeah, I was noticing that, at least a similar part to it. But the little pet peeve I had with it is you're clearly in the middle of the book with this. It says page 1 down in the corner. It says page 2 down in the corner. I mean, even if this is only a 60-page book, I'm clearly not on page 1 or 2. I'm on page 26 or 27 or whatever it is. And yeah, minor little things like that. No, you're not. You're just saying that this is one particular thing that you happen to like or dislike, and in this case, it's one little pet peeve you have. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. To each their own. Cut the mile, wait until it exudes an accurate smell, and remember when in doubt or the alchemy. Yeah. Some of the lore and parts and pieces that are in these books and notes and things like that, there is so much rich lore that goes with that. But, and it really is amazing. I've already found a couple times where dialogue that I get into, one time because I read everything that I pick up, one of the things that I had read actually gave me an additional conversation choice because of something that I'd read in there. And another one, one of the things I'd read in one of the quests that I was in, it gave even more context to it. So it's pretty neat. And there's a reason why people have talked about how extensive this is, because it, plain and simple, there's just so much to it that it's just got so much extra behind it. And even the most innocuous thing, like a note that you pick up in some room, might be an Easter egg, but it could also be an additional line in a text somewhere. You know, it could be something that you run into with some throwaway line on a piece of paper might lead to some major piece of dialogue later on. It's just pretty neat. Yep, found a hidden thing, a tree, which changed an entire quest outcome. It's insanely detailed. It is, yeah, yeah. It's it's pretty amazing how extensive. Granted, now they have had years with this being in early access, for them to work on, so they've had plenty of time to develop it. They've had collaborations with the Wizards of the Coast, the actual official people who own and run D&D. It's just pretty neat. But, you know, there are plenty of lore makers and people who are the writers and the story designers that, and them plus the actual design people who put in the Easter eggs and the parts and pieces for all the lore in here. I got to give them serious props. They did an amazing job. All right, I could stay up and chat all night, but I really have to go up early in the morning. I must pick your brains on your voice work when I get a chance to. Alrighty, yeah. I'm planning on making it a regular thing for, I mean, you got to be pushing probably close to midnight right now, I would say, for your time if my math is right. And so it's pretty late for you. I'm planning on doing some different times for some streams. I'm going to do some morning, afternoon, and evening, and just see what kind of numbers and or people I get who show up and see. Be intriguing to see what people think, and both for the times of day as well as the content, and we'll go from there. But okay, so it's even after, it's later than I thought it was. So you're pushing 100. You're almost at, you're past the past midnight, getting into the witching hour, as they say. Okie dokie. Yeah, so, well, I hope you have some wonderful sleep there, sir. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of you on here, as well as seeing more of your own videos. But all right, Tez, have a great night. Yeah, and for anybody else who's watching now or watching the VOD later too, that's my intention, is to try some different times a day. Do some daytime streaming, some afternoon, some evening, and see what works best for people. I've had a couple different people who were saying that they were considering some more nighttime time slots worked better for them. But they're in a whole different time zone than anybody else I've talked to about it. So it's kind of a difficult spot trying to figure out what a good space is for any of these different things that are going on. I don't know. It'll be intriguing. Alrighty. Let's see. He's in padded armor. Studded leather. Alright, so that's better for him. Barbarian clothes should just be flat out barbarian clothes, because I'm pretty sure she gets armor. Oh, I gotta double check. Dark vision, eagle vision, ever vigilant. Chooses to end the rage. Yep, that's the new one I just got. Cool new set of gloves. If I end my rage early, I get temporary hit points. Hellish resistance. Opportunity attack. There it is. On armor defense. Body is as resilient as any armor. While not wearing armor, you add your constitution modifier to your armor class. Okay. Wearing heavy armor impedes all positive effects of your rage. Kind of makes sense, because you're a juggernaut of meat and rage. Okay, so she's in padded armor. Her armor class is 11, so her AC is 12 with the padded armor on. And 14 without it. Okay. So. She's at 13. Let's go to nature. What's the highest nature stat? Others. Let's see, 44. I got a bunch of arrows. Shield. +2. Same +2. Yep. Okay. Okay, set to camp. Okay. I know inventory management is not exactly exciting content. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I've got the goblin drawing. Any of the things that have an orange barrier around them, an orange border, I'm reluctant to do a few things with it. So that orange border makes me think that it's like a quest item or something, you know, or like it'll help me somehow in a quest. Considering that I'm currently on my way to the Goblin's camp, downline charcoal drawing of 3 stick figures. Can't even get a better view of it than that, which is okay. I don't really need one, but it is intriguing. Seeing eye, protection from good and evil. Abjuration. Okay. I love some of the descriptions on things like this. So, it's the ever-seeing eye. Protection from evil and good, which is a level 1 spell. This is actually something that I'm pretty sure Gale and maybe Shadowheart already have. Protect an ally against the attacks and powers of aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. You're adding additional protection from those particular critters. Target can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them, and when these creatures attack, they do so with disadvantage, which is great, especially if if you run into a lot of undead or happen to run into any of the other ones that are on there. Celestials are not anywhere near as common. Aberrations, maybe. Elementals, possibly, especially if you're fighting against wizards, things like that, because then you'll have things that they might be casting or conjuring. Our druids can also, either wild shape into or call upon elementals. Fae and fiends. Undead will be the most common, probably, of any of those, but yeah, so that's an intriguing one. Thinking, at least for now, that'd be a good one for Karlak to have, so we'll give it to her. J ones. White bones, his clothes. Okay. Alrighty. Back over to my main character here. And for anyone curious, especially if you watched my other recent vid where I was talking about different character classes and the races that go well with them, I created this bard not long after actually the game first came out. When I did, I was not thinking about min-maxing or anything like that. I was thinking about what kind of character I wanted to roleplay. And I wanted to roleplay a bard. And I had not done one of the Mephistopheles tieflings as of yet. So that's what I picked. And I was more interested in the roleplay side of the race to go along with the character than I was with anything having to do with the min-max and best possible build kind of thing. And that part wasn't the most important part to me. I want to do the regular inventory one. And being a bard, picking the College of Lore, and I did customize the stats a little bit, but I purposely picked the Mephistopheles tiefling versus the other ones that are the, oh boy, I'm awful with names. One is the Zariel, Zazriel, shoot, I can't think of what it is. But, the other tieflings that seem to be more about, the one is obviously the red one. There is the Asmodeus one, I believe, and that one's red and it's fire. And then the other one is Zariel or Zazriel, I can't remember off the top of my head, and I don't even remember what that one is, honestly, and not sure if that's also fire. I do think it's interesting that the hellish resistance, resistant to fire damage, taking only half from it for the Mephistopheles tiefling, which is not, as not as, at least visually, not as easily linked to, the red and yellow of what you traditionally think of as fire. However, they are ashen, and it's as if the fire is already burned. So I don't know. And it's intriguing too, because I've seen some really interesting things with that recently with the hellish resistance, where it was a tiefling cleric whose father was a water based character. So she was actually resistant to cold instead of heat. So ice resistant versus fire resistant. And pretty neat. Obviously lots of different options. But I have been wanting to play a tiefling and like the look of the Mephistopheles version of it, so that's what I picked. Like I was saying before, the different ones that you got for it. Bards are great with the high elves because it gives them an additional cantrip. I mean, if I really wanted to min-max the heck out of this, what I would have done is initially taken a level in either wizard or cleric, and then a level in one of those again the next level, and then every level after that done levels in bard, because it gives you the largest access to skills, or spells rather. Your spell book would be huge, and so and get up to oh goodness, Trying to remember with multiclassing like that how far the wizard spells can actually go, but it's quite a ways. You know, and so you end up with a huge spell library. Oh, I don't know. And at some point, I might go back and try and make a min-max character just because it'll be fun to go through and figure out how nuts I can make it. You know, but it's not something that I'm gonna worry about instantaneously by any means. Oh. Either way, I've been gabbing on and doing a whole bunch of other stuff recently, so we're gonna get back out of there. Open up our chest here. As I'm currently out in the swamp. Next to where Auntie Ethel was. Adult frog. Okay. I'm coming. Where are you taking me, frog? Here, shiny. Oh, pouch. Okay. Look at that. Gold scroll of Speak with Dead and a scroll of sleep. Excellent. Thank you. Bye. Oh, goodness. Alright. Well, let's try and be semi-safe. Stay on the path here. Comparatively. Can I get... Okay. Let's see if I can get up around this corner. That leads me back up to her place. Okay. Can I jump? There's so much blood all over the place. Let's try this. Oh, you know what? That's an excellent idea. Oh, I don't want to go all the way back up there. This is where I want to be. Do I have to go here to do that? I think I do. Where I'm at. Way up there. Yeah. No. 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 My camp is wherever I happen to be. Yeah. Okay. Lighted villages. That's fine. This means I got some running to do. Oh, no, why are you going east? Aha. Okay. Overview. That's why. Doing top down. Ah, look at that. Holy cow. These are later resistance. Arxian. Sort of heroism. Goblet and a bunch of gold. Nice. In a burrow? Just hanging out under a tree. I mean, I'm sure as shit not gonna shake a stick at it. Morsel. Oh, so many alchemy things. Okay, wait a minute. Well, if my perception failed, there's a problem. I have a really good perception. Again. Hang on. And looks for dark vision. Sherry. Healing potion. One. Asset eyes. Lightning. Running Thunder. Fleet Fingers. Running Jump. Once per turn, after the wearer dashes, takes a similar action, they can jump without using a bonus action. Alright. Dashes or jumps. Okay. Let's go with that being for Will. Fire, priest bottle, holy water, everything else. Send to camp. And in case anyone's curious, we all walked by here when they did perception rolls. And unfortunately, they all failed. But it was when walking past this area. So I took a shot in the dark that somebody buried something over here on the side of the road. And sure enough, there was. Did a darn good job of burying it, though. We all failed our perception checks for it. Now heading south. Which I think actually means too far. Have the swamp over there. Let's see if we get over this way. Yes, Peter Bog. So this is leading into Auntie Ethel's area. Okay, so this takes us to the Goblin Camp or back up to Crash. Rescue the Druid Housen. Where is this tea house? That's Auntie Ethel's. I don't get why they keep calling it the tea house. That's Druid Housen. That's the Crash. Yeah, I did never actually. In case anybody's curious, depending on, of course, where you are, I didn't go back and talk to Zeblor and say that I would help them escort out because I don't want to. I don't want to actually escort them out. I want to get to Halson and have him take over again so that we don't have to worry about the, pardon the language for a second, the bitch that took over and was gonna feed the poor little tiefling girl to her snake. And that when we looked into her thoughts, basically, short version is she's a racist, but it's actually classist because she's not like anybody who isn't part of their druid grove, which is interesting because druid is a class, not a race. So if you're a druid, regardless of your race, she seems to be somewhat okay with you. But all these tieflings that are currently in their grove that are not druids, she was wholeheartedly against. And I'm just trying to figure out if it's D&D equivalent of racism because it's a whole bunch of tieflings that she has a problem with it? Or is it because they are not druids? Which is not a race, it's a class. It is and I guess essentially their version of a calling. Okay, so I have made it into the forest area. Wasn't here directly before. Okay. Under the bog. Top. Alright, we're just gonna keep going this way. So we're right there. Oh, that's troublesome because that whole pack of gnolls that kicked our butts this past time. Now I'm hearing hyenas again, and this looks like. Yeah, it was. It's the backside of that blighted village. Did I seriously just need to come around? Well, I wouldn't have gotten to Anti-Ethel that way. And getting Anti-Ethel was kind of important, both for the quest and for the roleplay of it. Although I feel bad for that poor girl. Her brothers were both killed, and hang on, where are you going? Can I jump down from here without breaking my neck? Let's find out, shall we? -5, jeepers. -4, -5. Boy, oh boy. I don't think I took Featherfall. Nope. Do I have a potion of Featherfall? Oh, I'll look at that in just a moment. I'm going to be right back here, chat. Give me just a second. Need to take a quick bio break. Give me a moment here. And I will be RB. Of course. Yeah, I didn't think to actually, hit play on that. That's okay. That one's got to get fixed anyway. Alrighty, so a couple more minutes here, chat, and then I'm gonna actually take a break for some dinner because it's getting a little bit late on my end. Alright, let's get back into it here. Okay. So, I didn't hear the pig before. I'm pretty sure this is the goblin camp. See. I seem to recall at one point I had a. Let's see. In a camp. Pretty sure, yeah, I have a speak with dead on me. Send a camp. Dash or jump. Yeah, makes sense. Alright, I should have put those in here. Okay. Blast. Okay. Park skin. Drink and increase your armor class to 16. Alright. This is effects from other elixirs when drunk. Resistant shock. Yeah, I'm not overly concerned about that one. That to her. Hide helmet. Hide helmet. Hide helmet. Already got hide helmet. Somehow I keep opening that up. There. should help a lot. I don't need 22 of the darn things. Again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check, but I'm pretty sure Karlach has the highest number of HP. Oh, yeah, it's over here. 67, 46, 46, 40, yeah. She's got the highest HP. She should be the one that has the biggest health potion. Gandrel's Aspiration. Fellow monsters, you have advantage against monstrosity type enemies. Weapon enchantment +1. Proficiency with weapon type includes. What's that one? Sacred munitions. Use your aggressive weapons with holy energy. Your ranged weapon attacks possibly inflict turn undead. Nice. Okay. Didn't even know that was a thing. That's okay though. She's the only one who can use a heavy crossbow, so we're going to give that to her anyway. Read. Are we on open? Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, sorry. Send to camp. And send to camp. Light crossbow, I'm pretty sure everybody already has. Except maybe me. +8. +2, 1d8 +2. No. Let's go to camp. Let's go to camp. And let's see here. Run. Sweet. That is a tough one. Okay, folks. Well, I'm going to do a bit more inventory management here, and I'm going to try and figure out. I'm fairly certain at one point or another I actually had a Featherfall scroll, which would mean that I was able to jump down there without all of us getting seriously injured or dead. Because this is actually a decent distance to fall, and I'm a little concerned because it says -5 HP and prone. So not only would I lose 5 HP, I'd be laying down. I could break bones doing this, and then I'm going to be kind of stuck. Don't really want that. So I'm actually going to save it here. Then I need to go get something to eat. So I'm going to end the stream right here for this one. I will be streaming again probably tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow probably midday, mid-afternoon. Let's see. So my local time right now, it's 20:30. Which is 30 in UTC. So if I do 20, say 16, 4. So I could do like 1600 tomorrow, and that would be like 2000 UTC. Or I could do like noon my time, so that would be 1600 UTC. So you guys can certainly let me know. Got my Discord, or obviously Tez, which you guys saw show up in chat earlier. Handsome Tez is how I, watching him jump into this, even at the age of over 40, he said, you know what? You're right. I'm not too old to do this. So I'm going to jump in and do it too, which is why I'm right here. So if you're not in his Discord, or if you wanted to be in mine, there's links in my, on my page for my Discord, for my Twitter. Obviously you can subscribe, you can leave a comment. If you want to leave a comment saying, hey, I would love it if you streamed in the afternoon, or leave a comment saying, nope, I prefer morning. Well, any of those are great, but you got to either tell me what time zone you're in, or tell me morning, afternoon, or evening in UTC, Universal Time Code, Universal Coordinated Time. Which, if it is Universal Coordinated Time, why is it not UCT instead of UTC? But, that's just me. I'm still used to it being Zulu, but that's okay. Alrighty, folks. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, whether that be the last parts of the evening or just starting the morning. Keep a curious eye on the horizon. And I will talk to you again in the not too distant future. This is Dr. Mick signing off for the night. Later, y'all. Thanks for watching.